Hey, what's going on, guys? I have a really fun episode for you today. I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia with my buddy Graham from Woodness and Goodness.
What's up, guys?
Guys, Graham is a really amazing cabin builder. Last year in 2020, during all of the crazy times, he basically just got really bored during lockdown and he was like, I got some extra land, I'm gonna build a cabin. And he has no carpentry or construction, cabin building experience until he started, like literally nothing. And now we're standing in front of his gorgeous finished cabin. He's converted it now into this amazing office space, and I can't wait for you guys to check it out. So I guess to get the ball rolling, like what was your inspiration for deciding to suddenly build a cabin, especially with no experience? Why did you do this?
So I grew up in northern British Columbia, Canada with an A-frame. We had a little off-grid A-frame, and it was a true cabin. No power, no plumbing. We had an outhouse on a lake, and I just remember those being like the times of our lives. It was just so much fun growing up with that. And as my family grows and as work gets busy, I wanted something like that. I wanted an escape of some kind. And so I figured, why not just build this on my land? And it originally started as a cabin, and with everything going on, eventually became my exterior outdoor office.
Nice.
So, but ultimately growing up with that, I wanted that cabin experience in my life now.
There's just so many different, options and plans and types of cabins out there. So how did you come up with the design and the plans for this cabin that's behind us?
So I had to do a little research and figure out what my county allowed, and they allow 256 square feet of something that you kind of build yourself within an allowance of not having to get a whole lot of permits. And so that's what determined my footprint, which is 12 feet wide by 20 feet long. And then I wanted a shed style roof because that would make it easier for me. And so that gave me our 8-foot wall and our 12-foot wall, the 12-foot wall being the window wall. The design of the windows and the way I laid those windows out was completely determined on the fact that those windows were free, given to me from a friend. And there was a series of wrong windows and eventually the right windows. But that's ultimately how I came up with that front window design, is because those windows were free. Nice, and I wanted to keep the cost down.
Smart man. Okay, so a really common question I see on your channel and channels like mine is like the logistics behind a build like this. So could you kind of tell them how long it took you to build this from start to finish? And also like any financials or cost breakdowns that you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so this took me a little over a year, but all the days and hours that I compiled to actually doing it within that year and a bit was roughly 55, 60 days worth of work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And 55 of those days was just me. I had my buddy Max help me with the windows, and my dad and mom actually helped me raise some of the walls.
Nice.
Cost-wise, the exterior, the studs, the insulation, the floor joists, the sheathing, the metal roof, basically everything you needed to make the exterior work and look good, including the cedar siding, cost me around $8,000.
Okay. And
then add an additional $6,000 to have the interior finished, and that includes a fairly expensive lighting. I like lighting's expensive.
It's important.
Can be $1,200 for the Mr. Cool unit. So but all in all about 13, 14 grand.
Okay, nice. That's actually, again, I don't know anything about this stuff. That's like way more affordable than I was thinking. For some reason, I have in my mind like 30, 40K, like almost like a new car. But I mean, this is like, a lot of people could do this. I feel like it's pretty affordable.
A lot of people could do this. Again, I might have lack of knowledge where it should have cost me more money. Of course. But I think, I think you could easily build something like this. Now we do know that there is a lumber hike right now, right? If I had built this now versus 6 months, or no, about a year ago where I bought most of the lumber to do this.
Okay.
You're looking at a 30-40% higher price.
That has a big effect on it. I don't know any of that stuff, so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay guys, so that will do it for the exterior. I hope you found some of the information helpful. Let's now hop inside and do a quick cabin interior tour. Okay guys, we have finished the quick cabin tour. Just absolutely love this space. I told Graham I want to basically purchase the plans from him and construct this own thing for me back home. But I think now, like looking back in this entire process, if you could tell them, would you do anything differently? Like, would you change anything? Like, what have you learned from this whole process? You can.
Oh, that's a good question, Mike. Well, I mean, when I first started thinking about it, I don't even know what was going on in my mind in terms of, you know, knowing exactly what I was going to end up creating. But I knew I wanted to build a structure, a cabin of sorts. But basically, I just kind of went out and I wanted to create a space. And so I built the foundation. Mm-hmm. I probably would have done that maybe a little bit differently. You know, you start going down the rabbit hole and you realize there's like 1,000 ways to do one thing.
Yeah,
you know, everyone has their way of doing it. And so I was trying to incorporate all these different ideas and things that I've seen around the world. And, you know, maybe it wasn't that great to take some advice from someone in, you know, Nicaragua or, you know,
all the way Nicaragua.
You know, coming from Canada, the frost layer, you know, the frost line alone is like 48 inches or more, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Here it's like 24. So being sure, you know, that the foundation was deep enough. I mean, the list goes on, but ultimately, I'm so glad that I just kind of went for it. Because if I didn't, well, we wouldn't be in here. And if I had overthought every decision I had to make, we still probably wouldn't be sitting here because, you know, that can be overwhelming.
Okay, so lesson learned, do not overthink things. I definitely do that myself, but let's just say, you know, I want to build a cabin myself tomorrow. I personally have absolutely no building experience, construction experience. I know nothing about any of this stuff. What's like the one piece of advice you'd give to me if I was starting tomorrow building my own cabin? What would you say?
Well, I love analogies, and basically you just got to dip your toe in the cold water. Like no one wants to jump in because you don't know really what to do. But if you just slowly work your way into it, it honestly isn't that bad. I mean, people, a lot of comments I get on some of the videos I made of this cabin are like, yeah, right, that guy's got experience. well, I do now, you know, like I filmed as much stuff as I could have, you know, 90% of all my building. But there's a lot of mistakes that take place.
Yeah.
But a mistake is not the end of the world. It's a learning opportunity. And I think that's the biggest thing I think a lot of people are scared of, that I've, you know, the people who I've, you know, gone back and forth with on my channel and seen, you know, comments on your videos too, is people are just so scared of kind of getting into it. And you got to start somewhere, right?
Okay, awesome. So you guys have seen Graham's beautiful space. Now I'm super curious, like what do you have in store for the future? Are you building more cabins? Are you building it for other people? Like what are you up to the next few months?
Well, Mike, I got the bug and it's a bad bug. So as soon as I finished this cabin, actually the first thing, I was actually kind of sad, you know, even though it was done and I could look behind me and you know, be pretty proud of what I did. I've got the bug. I want to build another one.
Yeah, man.
So I'm in the middle of like, you know, possibly buying some land to maybe build another cabin, maybe 2 cabins. Nice. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I found so much joy in building it, and so many people around me are like, man, that's awesome. And ultimately it's a small footprint. It was a very approachable project, so I feel like why can't I do it again? Yeah. So I'm just going after it.
Your people on your channel love it. So I mean, this guy, he gets the views, baby. The cabin. So absolutely, man. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for Graham for opening up his space to us.
No worries, Mike. Thanks for coming. It was a blast.
No, we had a lot of fun filming this. All his information, his YouTube channel is down below. Be sure to subscribe to Wooden is Goodness. He has some amazing cabin building videos coming out in the future and some really exciting projects. So go and check him out, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Talk then. Definitely do the same for everything business is wise. The is all the time. I come up with words. Are backwards. I come up with words like all the time. Oh, just huge thank you to Graham for opening up his space to us and just learning everything. That was boring. Like, go check out his channel. Give him a subscription.
Subscribe, baby. Just do it.